Have you ever experienced something that changed your life forever? Something so extraordinary that decades later you still remember every detail? Welcome to the Oddcast. Today we're travelling back to Australia, to an ordinary Wednesday morning that became one of the most puzzling UFO sightings ever recorded. It's a story involving hundreds of witnesses, schoolchildren, teachers, mysterious flying objects, alleged military involvement, and questions that remain unanswered nearly 60 years later. This is the Westall UFO Incident. The date was the 6th of April, 1966. The location was Westall High School, a suburban school in Melbourne, Australia. It was just before lunchtime. Students were going about their lessons when something unusual caught their attention. Several pupils looked out of classroom windows and noticed a strange silver object moving across the sky. At first they assumed it was an aircraft, but this wasn't behaving like any aircraft they'd ever seen. Word spread rapidly through the school. Within minutes, students poured out into the playground and surrounding grounds. Some estimates suggest that between 200 and 350 students witnessed at least part of what happened next. Teachers also came outside. The object hovered above nearby grassland known as the Grange. Witnesses consistently described it as metallic silver. Some compared it to two dinner plates placed together. Others said it looked like a smooth disc with a slight dome. It was estimated to be somewhere between 6 and 10 meters across. What made the object remarkable wasn't simply its appearance, it was how it moved. Witnesses said it hovered silently. No engine noise, no propellers, no wings, and no exhaust. Then, without warning, it shot away at incredible speed. Some described its movement as almost playful, bouncing through the air before stopping instantly. Others said it drifted like a falling leaf before accelerating faster than anything they'd ever seen. Many believed the object descended into a nearby paddock. Several students ran towards the area, hoping for a closer look. According to numerous accounts, the object hovered just above the ground before disappearing behind trees. Moments later, it reportedly reappeared and accelerated skyward. Some witnesses claimed there wasn't just one object, there may have been as many as 3. The reports vary, which isn't unusual in a fast-moving event witnessed by hundreds of people from different locations. But remarkably, many descriptions remained strikingly consistent. Silver, disc-shaped, silent, moving in impossible ways. One of the most intriguing parts of the story concerns what may have been left behind. Students and some teachers later claimed there was a large circular area where the grass had been flattened. Some described scorched or yellowed vegetation. Others spoke of broken branches and a ring-shaped depression in the ground. Whether these marks were connected to the object has never been established. No comprehensive scientific examination of the site was carried out. Then comes perhaps the most controversial chapter of the story. Many witnesses recall military vehicles arriving shortly afterwards. Some remember uniformed personnel entering the field. Students have claimed they were ordered back into classrooms. Others say they were warned not to discuss what they had seen. Over the years, stories of an official cover-up have become deeply woven into the Westall mystery. However, no documentary evidence has ever surfaced proving that authorities deliberately suppressed information. That hasn't stopped speculation. Far from it. Some former students have said they remained silent for decades because they feared ridicule. Others insist they know exactly what they saw and have never changed their account. Researchers have spent years interviewing witnesses. What's fascinating is how many still tell essentially the same story, despite the passage of time. Of course, skeptics have offered alternative explanations. Some suggest it may have been a weather balloon. But critics argue balloons don't hover close to the ground before accelerating away at astonishing speeds. Others have proposed experimental military aircraft. Again, supporters of the mystery point out that no known aircraft in 1966 matched the reported performance, particularly silent hovering and rapid changes in direction. Psychologists have suggested memory can be influenced over time, especially after discussion with others. That's certainly true. Human memory isn't perfect, yet supporters of the case argue that so many independent witnesses recalling similar details makes Westall unusually compelling. Perhaps the most honest conclusion is also the simplest. Something happened at Westall High School that morning. Hundreds of people genuinely believed they witnessed an extraordinary object. Exactly what that object was remains unknown. Was it an advanced military project? A rare atmospheric phenomenon? A misunderstanding that grew over time? Or was it something altogether stranger? We simply don't know. The Westall incident remains one of the world's greatest unsolved UFO mysteries, not because it proves extraterrestrial visitors came to Earth, but because after all these years, no explanation has managed to satisfy everyone who was there. And perhaps that's why the story refuses to disappear. It reminds us that even in our modern world, there are still mysteries waiting to be understood. Until next time, stay curious.